Some people promise that you can drop 15 pounds in a month. Others say that actually a plant-based diet is a really slow way to lose weight. So what's the truth here? Let's take a closer look at how much weight you can really drop in 30 days on a plant-based diet. So what are the maths behind safe weight loss then? Let's crunch the numbers for a second here. That sort of gold standard 1 to 2 pounds per week that you'll see commonly advised in lots of the guidelines, the literature on this. We're not in the business over here on this channel of simply agreeing with things because they are the done thing, because they're popular. But I do have to concede with my Slim and Sustain guys, I have found that 1 to 2 pounds per week as a ballpark really is the sweet spot between weight loss that is fast and effective enough to where it feels psychologically incentivizing. The trade-off of sacrifice feels worth it, and it stokes the fire every week when you see that scale weight drop. But simultaneously, it's not so fast and aggressive that you might consider it unsafe or unsustainable or unhealthy, or that it promotes such an extreme aggressive nutrition and exercise strategy that inevitably the crash and burn is coming. So you take that 1 to 2 pounds per week, we extrapolate that to 30 days here as per the title of this video. Of course, I hope it's more than just a 30-day experiment fling for you, but for the purpose of this video, you're looking at 4 to 8 pounds per month, which I appreciate is a rather wide-ranging spectrum, but hey, that's what we're looking at. Why not even faster than that? And there are some exceptions to the rule, some folks for whom it could be faster than 4 to 8 pounds per 30-day period. We're going to cover those exceptions to the rule in just a second. It won't, for those people, be arbitrarily unsafe or unsustainable either, so we'll cover those in just a second. But why not faster for most of us than 4 to 8 pounds per month? Because if you slash your calories too aggressively, whether knowingly or not, whether you're actually tracking calories or have no calorie awareness whatsoever, but if you cut those calories too aggressively, you risk losing muscle mass. Of course, you very much risk tanking your energy. And again, that risk of rebound goes through the roof. It's a rather basic soundbite. Again, there are some exceptions, but you can think of it like this. The faster you drop, the more your body, wants to fight back to not only the physiological aspect of weight loss, but also the psychological compliance adherence aspect too. That's important to consider when setting goals. Also, I think very important to acknowledge the elephant in the room here, the stark difference in many cases between weight loss and fat loss, as most of my audience is very well aware. What I also love about the 4 to 8 pounds range, though, is there's a very good chance that at least a large percentage of this is real, quote-unquote, fat loss, as opposed to water shifts, changes in glycogen, etc., etc. Now, admittedly, you will get that in the first 1 to 2 weeks. It depends on how much the composition of your diet has shifted, though. That's a big caveat. But you may be likely to have a massive change in, for example, water levels in those 1 to 2 weeks that actually puts you far beyond 1 to 2 pounds per week initially. And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, is this too fast? Is this too unsafe? Not necessarily. What you're looking for is really weeks 3 and 4, where maybe it's stabilized a lot more. And I think you can rest easy knowing that if you're hitting a 1 to 2 pounds per week loss in weeks 3 and 4, yes, a lot of the changes I'm seeing here are genuine fat loss. They're not just water. They're not a trick. This is really happening for me. My body composition, I'm not seeing it yet, but it is about to drastically change for the better. Now, what makes results vary then? Why might you personally be a slower, more stubborn loser than your buddy next to you, or adversely a faster loser than our 4 to 8 pounds per 30 days per month gold standard? Litany of reasons that contribute to this. First of all, we've just discussed water weight, glycogen shifts. They're going to differ person to person depending on what your diet was like before, depending on the nuances of your diet now, the plant-based diet that you're following now, how high carbohydrate it is, what about things like sodium again that can affect water levels, etc., etc. Those things can make a difference. But actually, frankly, the biggest contributor to the variance I find in what makes results vary person to person in terms of speed of progress is your starting weight, right? If you've got a much higher starting weight than your buddy next to you, 30, 40, 50 pounds, of course it's expected that you could lose faster than 1 to 2 pounds per week. And that wouldn't inherently automatically be considered a red flag. Oh my goodness, is this too aggressive or is this too unsafe? So this is where we stretch outside those general guidelines, and where actually the general guidelines, if you're holding yourself to that as a criteria, can actually be really unhelpful to you. So I want to cover these exceptions. Of course, another elephant in the room here, what makes results vary? Why might for you it might be slower or faster than our range here? Your adherence. Your adherence. Are you having cheat days? days? Are you having cheat days every 3 days or every 2 weeks? They're a big difference. Are you having any cheat days at all? You know how aggressive, again, or moderate is your calorie deficit? What about exercise, etc., etc.? And of course, we've got these other secondary factors such as, you know, hormones, metabolic rate, sleep, rest, hydration, etc., etc. All of these things working in the background, some of them in the foreground, that contribute to your speed of progress. Now, a couple of myths and misconceptions about speeding up progress. I see a lot of, especially new plant-based dieters, but also, frankly, people that have been in this community for years, thinking that there's certain, hoping rather, there's certain levers they can pull and their weight loss or fat loss more specifically is going to be drastically faster, and this simply isn't true. A couple of examples of this are getting caught up in the whole carbohydrate versus fat debate, or by extension, the whole macronutrient conversation, when really it's just about your calorie deficit, and that's the big thing that is going to dictate your speed of progress on the scale, or most easily the variable that will dictate at least your speed of progress, at least with fat loss. So getting lost in, high carbers are saying the fat you eat is the fat you wear, but when I tried keto in the past, I lost a lot of weight doing that, and they're demonizing the carbs. They're like, no, it's the carbs that are fattening. I don't know what to do. Doesn't matter. It's just the calorie issue. Have them all. Have both. Right? This is why on Slim and Sustain we do balanced macronutrient plates instead of something that's really macro restrictive. Also, like intermittent fasting, you don't have to do it. It's about the calorie deficit. There's nothing inherently magical about the fasting window. Or the prerequisite, I must eat 1 pound or 2 pounds of raw veggies per day. That's the secret to fat loss on a plant-based diet. Or I must do the 50-50 plate is what I heard. That's the secret to fat loss on a plant-based diet. No, these are all preferences. They're all tactics. I'm not saying they're equally poor or ineffective strategies. They can be useful. They all have their merit in various different ways, I would argue. But the idea that they're mandatory, the idea that you must do these things, or these things inherently provide faster fat loss, if they do, it's only because they've driven your calories down. So what you need to understand right now is this is primarily a calorie issue. The law of physics cannot be disregarded in all of this. The only other thing that's going to make a difference to speed of progress beyond the calories, frankly, is your consistency. Now, if you're frankly uninspired by the prospect of losing only 1 to 2 pounds per week, and you're listening to my boring allegiance with the realistic 4 to 8 pounds per month shtick here, and you're kind of looking at yourself thinking, my goodness, I've got loads of body fat to lose, right, before I'm in the shape that I want. If I only lose 1 pound per week at the lower end conservatively, it's going to take me months, or dare I say even years, to actually be in the kind of shape that I want. Is the trade-off worth it? Is the sacrifice worth it? If that is honestly how you're feeling as you listen to me here, here's what I would say to you. Yes, you can lose faster, and there's always a new and trendy quick fix or extreme method to help you do just that. You can always follow a crash diet. You can always take the weight loss drugs. This is not medical advice that are really popular right now. You can always just follow, generally speaking, healthy eating practices, but drive the calories so low that you're bordering on starvation. All of these things could indeed help you lose weight faster, but for how long? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Because 9 times out of 10, it's actually greater than this in my anecdotal observation, but I'm trying not to speak in too many absolutes. 9 times out of 10, you will pay the price for this extreme behavior. With the binges, with the rebounds on the back end of this, with the constant yo-yoing and what this does not only to metabolism, but also to you psychologically, to the cravings. This is just a nightmare to deal with, and people stay in this perpetual cycle where they have like roller coaster progress. They have really fast progress for the first couple of weeks, but then they're going right back up. And the problem is because they have this instant win, the conscious and the subconscious is like, what I'm doing is really effective. I'm losing weight so quickly. I lost 15 pounds this first month. It's really quick. You create a positive association with the extreme method, but that's the trick. Right, and this is why people don't fancy really the safe, sensible, more boring approaches. They're not as attractive. They don't have that huge sort of reward, instant reward feedback, positive association vibe going on, for want of better words. That was a word salad if ever I've made one. And so it's really tempting to just do the fast stuff. But in my experience, 600 clients through the program now, that's right, I'm flexing that muscle. 600 clients through the program, this only ends one way. get off the roller coaster, find the safe and sustainable, and really focus on, oh my goodness, you're telling me, Ryan, I'm only going to lose 4 to 8 pounds in this next month? I've lost way faster with other methods in the past. Judge yourself on month 3, 4, 5, year 1, my friend, not just that first month in isolation. And all of that spiel, bottom line, is exactly why I honestly think you should aim for, and frankly be really delighted with, anything that's in the 4 to 8 pounds per month range over the next 30 days. No, it's not as flashy or as sexy as fast as the crash diets and, as I say, lots of the quick fixes promise. But in my experience, this is the exact speed of progress that actually sticks, because it's with methods that are built to last. And that's how my clients lose 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds or more. I've got clients that have lost over 100 pounds either with me or doing most of it with me, and they're still making progress after the program without the relapses and the regains. This is how we do it. Slow and steady. It's unsexy, but it really does win the race. If you want to see how all of this looks in practice, I break it down in the free 45-minute video presentation on my website. You'll see the link somewhere down below. You can go there, download a little bit more about my whole Slim and Sustain framework and whatnot. Hopefully this was useful. Slow and steady wins the race. See you in the next one.